Welcome back to another episode of Can You Reach That?
Can you reach that?
With your hosts, Tango and Coop.
Man, we've hit a little mini milestone, man.
Right? Episode 5.
Episode 5.
It's crazy that we're here.
5 of infinity.
Right? Like we're making a big deal out of it like we got 500. Like, hey, it was hard getting to this first 5.
Hey, man, we've gone through some technical woes and,
we have
getting used to the
equipment.
I mean, as much photography and videography and stuff that I do, this was a different sort of a setup. I didn't enjoy some of the equipment that we were using, but I'm glad we're back on track. I think we're starting to get in our own zone.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like there's slight improvements with each episode.
Yeah, so, indeed. You can't start off at 100. You got to start off.
Start off with where you're at.
Aspiring for 100,
and we go from there. Like I already feel. I know it's only 5 in, but I feel like we've definitely improved a lot over the last 5 episodes.
Indeed.
Hopefully we get this camera thing down. Seems like we got something that's going to work for us, at least in the short term.
For now.
Yeah. Something will probably come along later and we'll upgrade them. But yeah, everything's good. I like what we got going on. I'm having fun doing this. Looking to see where
we're getting some good feedback. You know what I mean? We've gotten some good feedback thanks to the viewers and whatnot. Some constructive criticism as well. So we're trying to make adjustments as needed, and
we're gonna do this every 5 episodes.
We appreciate the love. I mean, for real, we appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the people who are just learning about us. This might be the first time you're watching, so welcome. And hopefully, maybe you'll go back and watch the other ones and see the growth. And
yeah,
and when we get to 50, we'll look back on some stuff as well. So
right, yeah, we're gonna do this every milestone that we feel is significant enough to look back and reflect and see on everything we've done up until that point.
Indeed.
I can't wait to look back on the first episode and be like, what were we thinking?
I'm already doing that.
I'm already at 5 and you're already doing that.
Episode 5, I was doing that episode 2.
Oh man. So that's crazy.
I don't even like episode 4.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We're better than
it's
that.
Hit or miss. We can't. Everything's not going to be a showstopper.
The beauty is that I'm enjoying myself. I know you're having fun. I mean, that's my whole thing. I mean, whether it's perfect or not,
that's it. We're just having some fun.
Time, some good conversations. So, and it ain't nothing we wouldn't be talking about without these mics sitting here anyway. So.
Anyway, yeah, just 2 dudes who like chopping it up. Let's chop it up.
That's what it is.
Can you reach that? You see that? Let's talk about it. Be that. Believe that. Let the people know that we see that and what they want to know. Can you reach that? Can you reach that? Now you're home. Can you reach that? Can you reach that? Cool. Can you reach that? Can you reach that? Can you reach?
So how you been?
So far this week, man, it's been rough. It's been a lot of stuff going on, but I do know one thing.
What's that?
And that is San Diego Comic-Con and whatnot is getting ready to jump off.
You a big Comic-Con guy?
I've never gone. Always wanted to.
Right.
Want to go for aside from kind of like checking out the new announcements for movies and things like that, but kind of people watch because people get real elaborate with their costumes, the cosplays and stuff. So, I mean, I appreciate the heart that goes into doing some of that stuff. I mean, the dedication and creativity for that matter. It's fantastic. So I'd love to go just for that. Bring the camera along and that's something that we're probably gonna end up doing one of these shows. Next year maybe we have to make it a point to get to Comic-Con.
I'll be down.
But I do know that you're not that I'm not, but I know you're a Funko Pop guy, and they always have a nice slew of pops that come out around Comic-Con time. This time around, there's a couple that were pretty dope, but there was only one that I picked up, and that was the meme Kermit. Everybody knows the Kermit meme with the T.
With the T, yeah.
So I went ahead, I saw that they were dropping the Kermit, and he's holding the T, so I went ahead and I ordered that one.
Yeah, I copped that one too. I had to cop a couple extra just because I like that free shipping. And then I get to a point sometimes where it's like, there's ones that I see that I really want, and it's like, I'm going to hold off on it. Like, I'm going to wait to pull the trigger.
Right.
And then by the time I go back to get it, it's sold out. And then there are ones that I'm iffy on, and for some reason, they'll always be in stock.
Right.
So sometimes I just get a wild hair up my ass, and it's like, you know what? If I see it and I want it, like, I'm just going to, like, this is something that I definitely know I want. I'm just going to go ahead and get it. So I picked up a couple.
What's a couple of the ones that you grabbed?
One of them was there's a It's not called a jumbo. I can't remember the size of it, but it's a 6-inch Elmo on a trike, but he's flocked.
A flocked Elmo on a tricycle.
I love me a flocked pop. Like I almost don't care what the pop is if it's flocked. Like I'll buy it just because it's flocked.
The flocked ones are pretty dope.
Yeah, I like those. They got a flocked Bob Ross. I want to get that one.
I have that one.
You have the flocked one?
I do have a flocked Bob Ross.
Man, that would be dope.
One of my favorite flocks that I actually do have in my collection, I got it a while back, was the Smokey the Bear.
Dude, yeah, that would be a dope. That's on my wish list.
I got a Smokey the Bear flock, and I thought that was.
I got a grip. I got a grip of the flocked ones on the wish list. That'll be a facet of the collection that I want.
And I know it's kind of relevant right now, but I did get Squirrel Pool.
Squirrel Pool,
which is Deadpool as a squirrel.
Yeah.
But it's the 10-inch, but it's all flocked.
The big
it's
one,
a 10-inch flocked.
Flocked one? Damn.
Yeah, so that's pretty dope.
Yeah, Deadpool got a grip of variants.
There is a lot of Deadpool.
I got a 7-Eleven one Deadpool and a birthday cake.
Right.
It's weird. I'm not too hot on the Deadpool variants.
There's some that are hit and some that are miss.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way. I've got a couple, but there's a lot of them out there, so
yeah,
it's a little bit saturated.
That might be the only Deadpool that I have. That's like the one you would think. Like I fashioned myself a decent enough Deadpool fan,
right?
That I feel like I should have more Deadpool pops,
right?
But surprisingly not.
I think I only have 3 or 4. I don't have that many either, but
But like Batman, I got like 4 or 5 of those. I don't think I have all the biggies. I might be missing. I know I'm missing the old ones, like him in the white suit with the white. I can't remember if he's wearing a fedora or not.
Yeah.
Don't have that one, but like I know I got a lot of the other ones. There's a few of his that I'm missing.
Yeah, I got the biggies. I got all the biggies, but I'm missing the Tupacs. I'm only missing the first Tupac one, the red.
Yeah, the red one.
That's the only one I'm missing. But I got the rest, And I saw that Snoop is actually coming out with the Snoop on a stoop.
Snoop on a stoop.
Funko
gotta
Pop,
get that one.
I'm probably gonna get that because
gotta get that one.
Why not, right?
Yeah, need Snoop on a stoop.
So, but speaking of Deadpool, I mean, I'm guessing you're gonna
see the movie.
You probably.
I mean,
I wait. It's out and whatnot, but I wait for like a week or two to go by just for the crowds to kind of die down, so I can sit there and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're watching a movie on the the day one or week one, it's like it's so crowded. And me, I like to sit. It's a theater. I'm tall. I gotta sit sideways.
Yeah.
I gotta take up 3 spots for me, just me.
I used to love the opening night. Like it was a Thursday night, 7 p.m. first showing kind of thing. I know they say movies release on Friday, but typically you'll see the first showing on a Thursday night at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So that used to be my bread and butter. I'm
not so much anymore.
Post pandemic, man. Pandemic kind of screwed up a lot of my rituals, if you'll call them that.
You're more of a wait till it's on stream and just cop it there or watch it there.
Well, I got this little device. I'm not gonna say no names, but anything and everything that you can get on that's available on streaming, you can get it on the box, a couple $100. And like last night I was watching Bad Boy 4 from the comfort of my living room. Like I feel like that movie just came out.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Like when it comes to coming to the theater, it's got to be something big for me to go out to the theater. I mean, it's got to be something like I do plan on going to the theater for Deadpool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fan of the franchise, so I'm gonna go watch that one in the theater. But a lot of stuff I can't lie. I wait because I have a decent enough setup at home that.
That's the other thing too.
I'm kind of set.
I didn't spend all this money making a nice home theater system for me to not use it.
Right.
Like, come on now. Just got myself a new 75-inch TV. I'm watching that shit as much as possible.
Man, that's like an iPhone to me, man.
I know,
that's so
right?
Small,
He's like, that's my bedroom TV.
That's so small.
Every time I still walk into the living room, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this thing is like, it's a big step up because we jumped from. Well, I guess that's not big. In my head, we bought an 85 because I was looking between a 75 and 85.
Yeah,
we bought a 75 soon enough. We had a 65, so we did that jump from the 65 to the 75.
We'll get you another jump to an 85.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, we'll get you.
I don't have the space.
When I get when I get the laser projector and I'm hitting 150, you're gonna be like, damn it, I need to get at least an 85 now.
Nah, we'll be all right. I need a better space if I'm gonna do that. The 85 is, or see, I keep thinking it's 85. The 75 is more than enough for the space that we got right now. So we're gonna ride with that for a little bit.
It's some interesting there's gonna be interesting announcements obviously when as Comic-Con and whatnot comes around, but like just off of that note, biopics are becoming bigger lately. I've noticed a few of them that I want to see. Obviously we talked about the piece by piece for Pharrell. We've already
Right.
talked about that one, but
Right.
they're doing a Michael Jackson. I believe it's supposed to be a biopic, but it's some sort of Michael Jackson film. And in Burbank, they reconstructed an old '80s style Toys R Us
For the film.
for the film.
Yeah.
I guess it's the same one, you know, because they used to show those clips where he'd walk in and just be buying stuff. So,
Right.
but it has. You remember how Toys R Us used to have those wood slates along the side that were different colors?
Yeah.
That class, yeah. So they built it to look like that. So it literally looks like if you were to pull up over there and tell somebody you was in a time machine and you went back to the '80s, they'd probably
They
believe
believe
you
it. Yeah.
because it looks like an '80s style setup.
Go get some pictures in front of it.
And from what I understand, the inside is fairly dressed '80s style as well. So my guess is like the video game aisle, if you recall, just had the
Man.
papers.
Yeah. You just grab the papers.
You had to buy the paper so you go to the window to get the games.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's all dressed the same way. But yeah, I was bugging out, and I was like, it makes, you know, just that nostalgicness. I was like, and you know, and obviously a Michael Jackson picture, I'm sure is going to garner plenty of revenue.
Yeah.
It's going to be successful if it's
That'll
done
be
properly. So I'm
That'll be dope.
kind of looking forward to checking that one out.
I want to check that out. I wonder what the tone is gonna be.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking. Is like, is the angle gonna be his pop life, his, you know, Jackson 5, etc. Growing up, Michael Jackson, pop star, king of the world, you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Does it go all the way to his controversy, you know, in the court
Yeah.
system, the charges,
Or is it a fluff piece?
yeah,
You know?
does it go? Does it even make it to the point where he passes? You know, it might even go that far.
Yeah.
So that's unclear.
That'll be cool to see.
But
That's one of the things that I felt like the NWA biopic
right.
was missing. I feel like they didn't get too deep into anything like that really, really went down.
I feel like they could literally do a sequel to that movie.
Yeah.
Like pick up where that one left off.
There's
and
still
just,
enough content. Yeah.
I mean, because you've got obviously all of them going separate ways, and you've got, you know,
Yeah.
then it almost turns into now you have to do a Dre separate film.
Right.
an
Now you got
Ice Cube.
spinoffs.
So,
Yeah, you got a whole we got
everybody's gonna have
an
to-
Easy E biopic now.
Right.
Yeah, we got everybody.
You'd have to do the whole thing. So
I would love to see an Alcoholics biopic.
Alcoholics biopic would be dope.
Actually, anybody. DJ Quick. Like that
There's a
would
lot of
be-
people. There's a
yeah.
lot of people. Like just it's almost like picking their brain without picking their brain.
Right.
But it has to be one of those authorized ones, like
Yeah.
that has the truth behind it, not some like it's
the
relatively based on,
like
you know,
the Wu-Tang Saga on Hulu.
right, which is dope in its own right.
Or another one, the Mike Tyson one that they did on
Right,
Hulu. That
right.
was I didn't even watch that. I was so pumped to watch that one.
Well, it's like the Lakers Showtime joint, right? Like it was loosely based on.
That wasn't sanctioned either.
It was loosely based on, so it took its own liberties.
Dang.
I was vastly entertained by
I
it,
enjoyed
but it
it.
was
I didn't
not.
know that. I
It
didn't
was
know
not technically.
Yeah.
So
I
there's a
heard
lot of
sp-
people
I
that didn't
heard-
like it.
I heard specifically from Mike Tyson on the clip. He was like, you know, I didn't have nothing to do with that.
Right.
Like, don't watch it.
Same
I
thing
was
for
like,
the Lakers
oh,
when
bet.
Magic said he ain't even watching it because he was just like, I'm not watching
Man,
this.
if I had known that, I wouldn't have watched.
So I watched it. It was entertaining.
That has me thinking now.
Entertainment
Whatever happened to the? Wasn't there a boycott on the? I know we were talking basketball just now, but it just had me thinking, talking about not watching and supporting the athletes and stuff. Wasn't there a boycott on the NFL for a stint? Did that just kind of fade away?
That was,
Was that years ago?
I think, yeah, that was
That's what I'm saying. Like it just
unbelievably brief. Yeah, but no, yeah.
it just kind of fell to the
Right.
wayside.
But like whenever you have those biopics, going back to that, whenever it says loosely based on or inspired by, you know it's probably not fully sanctioned. It's probably not
Right.
fully authorized.
Yeah,
And they take their Hollywood liberties. I like the ones that are authorized. They come straight from the source.
yeah, those are much better.
Another one that's coming out that I'm really looking forward to is the ODB one. So
Old dirty bastard, Big Baby Jesus.
yeah, I think it's called a Tale of Two Dirties, I
Okay.
believe. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And that one, from what I understand, is authorized. And
Yeah,
it's gonna have, aside from having obviously members of Wu-Tang, it'll have like interviews with Mariah and people that he worked with. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
gonna be like a Praz and Maya, for doing the
That'll be
Bulwer
dope.
stuff. And
that'll be dope.
but it also gonna show a whole side to him, and it's focusing on not only like his home life, family life, but also like addressing mental health and struggles with substance abuse,
Yeah,
even fame and the popularity. There is a struggle behind that, but a lot of people don't get that when it comes to to famous musicians, actors, whatever, there's a struggle
Yeah, it definitely
of
is.
having that fame. You know, it comes with a lot of responsibility. It comes with a lot of stress.
Yeah,
So I'm really anxious to see it because I mean that's another person creatively who is probably a little ahead of his time
agreed.
and you know had an unfortunate passing at 35 years old.
Yeah,
I mean that's just it's too young as far as I'm concerned.
way too young.
So I'm thoroughly looking forward to that. I mean I think they should do. And it might be a little bit rough too at this point, but I would love to see a full on Wu-Tang documentary like that too.
That would be
Where,
dope. Now,
but there's so many separate stories for all those people.
again, that would be the perfect. That's an Avengers type event right there.
It is.
You know?
It's its whole Wu-Tang is its whole universe.
Right.
It's the Wu-verse.
We literally the Wooverse. There you go.
And so I could see them doing a base film with
They could have
all of them.
They could have 36 movies
You
for
just
the 36 chambers.
let me finish my sentence.
Oh, my bad. Did I just snatch that from you?
Just
My
pulled
bad.
it.
My bad.
But yeah, like I was literally about to say, you got your base movie about Wu-Tang that sets everything else up, and then you start doing your your chef and your meth and your Ghostface. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
get RZA, Jizza. I want to see one for
every
each
bottle.
of them.
Yeah, that
you
would be
God.
dope. And I mean, it's honestly, I think this is a great time to do it. Like you said, biopics are hot right now, and we need to tell our stories and our history before somebody else does it and tells a completely fucked up story.
I feel like you're leaving me out of this conversation now.
How did that? How do we get to that point? How do we get to that point? I'm just saying we've already
I
had.
totally wholeheartedly agree.
We've
Though.
already got examples, like there's all these stories about Mike Tyson, and he's like,
right.
yeah, that's
not me.
That's not my story.
I think I've mentioned this. I've met Mike Tyson twice, but one of the occasions I met him, I actually had a short conversation, decent conversation.
Yeah.
The dude is like insanely humble. Like he's not what you expect.
Nah, he's a true warrior. Like there's a I see a lot of growth in him. Like he is what I would describe as a kind individual. Because
I agree.
There's people that say that they're kind or that they're a good guy, but really they're just harmless.
Yeah.
Like to actually be a kind person, you have to be capable of immense violence and then choose not to.
Right.
And choose to be peaceful.
Right. And he said himself, he don't like that person in the ring.
Yeah.
He said it. He was like,
that's his demon.
I don't like him coming out because then I don't know what he's gonna do.
Yeah, that's it. So, that's the demon in him.
But yeah, Mike Tyson, man, like, shouts to Mike Tyson. I mean, Mike Tyson is like just a cool dude. Like me, growing up watching him do his thing for many years, and seeing like the transition into non-fight life.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, having a small conversation with him, but just that little conversation was just enough to I was like, wow, this dude's like, he's not what you expect when you meet him.
Right.
At all. Like,
right.
Real, like, was super cool.
Yeah, it's dope. I like people with that kind of energy. I like that I guess I kind of refer to it as the retired warrior mentality.
Right.
Where it's like, I'm highly capable of fucking you up, but I'm choosing peace.
I mean, it's definitely a certain type of personality type that drives that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, definitely. Because I mean, it's like, are you big into personality types? Have you messed around with that stuff at all?
To a certain degree, I'm not.
I got a weird philosophy on it.
Let's go for it.
I feel like
enlighten all of us.
So you know how there's people that are into horoscopes, like huge into horoscopes.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, what's your sign? And then, I knew it. I could tell by So I feel like there's a facet that use personality types in the same way. Like, and it's based. So there's like 3 levels of the personality type. The surface level is referred to as the MBTI. There's like 16 different personality types.
Okay.
So it's like you can tell based on how somebody acts. I mean, once you get into it, what their personality type is. So you can judge somebody like that type of thing, Then you go a little deeper and then it's broken down into like the cognitive stacks. So it's like how you approach the world and how you receive the world.
Okay.
So which is a little more in depth. And it's weird because I feel like you and me have the same personality type, or at least very similar personality types, because literally like we're like 2 peas in a pod, which is crazy. It's almost like talking to myself.
We do have the same complexion.
Yeah. What? I'm gonna blame it on the lighting.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been inside too much. I got to get outside some more.
It's like I said, man. I just got good hair, dude.
You got that good her.
Got that good, yeah. Got
Yeah.
that good her.
Yeah, we were separated at birth or some shit, bro.
I'm not taking credit for that joke. I stole that from Gary Owen. He said that. I think he said that back in Comic View days, man.
Gary Owen.
It's one of my favorites. He's funny as hell.
Yeah.
But
He's
yeah, no,
definitely-
the personality types, I get that. Those layers.
Yeah.
I get those layers.
It's crazy. I did a big deep dive, like almost psycho type. It was just like for 3 months. And I go through these phases where I pretty much get into something for 3 months.
So did somebody piss you off in a certain manner? And you just decided like this dude's personality or this girl's personality is like I have to like.
Nah, it was all on a personal growth.
Okay, so it's self-reflective.
Yeah, that I started going on.
Okay.
Honestly, meeting somebody and getting back into a relationship put me in a whole place of self-reflection that I had just never been in before, that I really wasn't ready before. I was just too immature for it. I had a lot of growing up to do.
I remember.
I didn't realize. Hey,
just,
but everybody had a good time though.
Indeed.
Everybody had a good time though.
Indeed.
And that's when I look back, I can see it. It's like, okay, I was literally just living half of a life. I wasn't focusing on anything.
I feel like
negative.
as people grow, that
Yeah.
you see the waves that you go through,
Yeah.
and when you can reflect on that and then own up to it, it makes you what you are. You know
Yeah,
what
it
I
does.
mean?
It makes you better. And that was something that I was
Some
not.
people bury that.
Yeah, and that was me up until my mid-30s. Like there was no. The way I looked at the past was, it's in the past. I can't change it. The
Right.
only thing I can do is not put myself in those same situations so that I don't make the same mistakes.
Right.
That was it. There was no learning from my mistakes. It was like, if I put my hand in some fire and I get burnt, the lesson learned is never do anything with fire again.
Right.
Not, okay, well, how do I
Just don't
use
touch,
this?
Just don't put your hand in.
How
the
do I
fire.
use this fire safely so that it still benefits
For sure.
And being in that fixed mindset of a space, like, ignorance is bliss. And I was a walking depiction of that. Like, I was happy in I guess we can call it my stunted emotional growth.
Right.
It was just, hey, I've made it this far in life. I turned out all right. Everything's working pretty good for me. So what's the point of changing?
There's definitely people I know, even to this day, that have the I call it the bucket. That's what I call it. And that's their personality type.
Yeah.
Their personality type is fuck it. And like no matter what happens, it could be something horrendous, like life-changing, right, to them, like that either happened to them and it was a negative, it could be anything, right? Like,
Yeah.
it could be a family member, like a close family member gets killed, something, and their mentality is like, it sucks, but fuck it. And they can just like, there's no emotion. It's just,
None. Yeah.
and for me, like, yeah, I agree. I can't do that. Like if something horrific happens, like it hits me on a different emotional level because I see it. I see the whole picture,
Right.
and then I analyze the whole picture, and then I reflect on it, and then you just go through that whole. It's a mental thing. You go through that
Yeah.
whole cycle. But I have friends, I have relatives that have that. Oh
Yeah.
well, it is what it is,
And that used to be me.
and I can't. I never understood that sometimes, and it's envious sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie, it's envious because there's times where. And I'm not talking about death. I'm talking about just things that happen in life that
Yeah.
just throw you a curveball that you're just
Yeah.
like, God damn, this is becoming hard, I wish I had that mentality to just be like, whatever.
It's a gift and a curse.
Because there's times where that could come in handy.
Yeah, it does. But there's also, it's like, using one method 100% of the time is not effective.
Exactly.
So there are times where you need to shut it off so that you can keep pressing forward. But then if that's the only way that you move through life,
right?
But
because I admittedly, there's things where I go, that's it, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
But
and then there's some that just completely.
They're generally pretty small, not necessarily fully going to affect my life.
Yeah.
But the things that are more impactful, I can't just do that. Like I have to think about not only what's happening, what's going to happen, what already happened. How does it affect me? What is it going to affect in the future?
Right.
You have to break all that down and like you say, just to live your life with a constant whatever. It's just so, man, it's
like I said, it's a gift and a curse. Like I describe it as a go with the flow type of mentality.
Right.
Because like no matter how I feel about it, nothing's gonna change.
Right.
And me processing it and getting up in my feelings about it, all that's gonna do is make it harder for me to keep moving.
And it does sometimes it does make it harder, but it also, that's how you learn to not like you said, not only get in that situation, but how to
move differently.
how to either avoid it or handle it differently. Because avoiding it's one thing, right? You can always
Yeah.
avoid a situation. Like you said, I could always not use fire, right?
Right.
But like you said, you have to reflect on it so that you know how to use that fire in
To your
other
benefit,
ways,
yeah.
right? And so like when a situation like that happens, like just to shrug it off, most of the time it's going to happen to you again.
Yeah.
It's just
It
inevitable.
is. Yeah. You can't avoid it.
So I would rather reflect and figure out ways to steer my life so that if that does happen, I'm more prepared for
Yeah.
whatever repercussions are going to derive from that. But
Yeah,
you know.
that's all new to me because it was the same, with relationships, with love life. Like my first marriage, when that fell apart and we got separated and we got divorced, in my mind, I'm like, that's it. Like I'm never doing this again. I tried it one time, it
Right.
didn't work out. In order for me to keep my heart from getting broken, never fall in love again. It's just that simple to
Wipe
me.
it out, yeah.
And it's
I remember you when around that time, and I
Yeah.
remember those exact words when you were kind of telling me what was happening, and you were just like, it don't
Yeah.
matter. That's it for me. At least now I got me, and I can do what I need to do. You had that mentality of a envious single guy
Bro,
who like with no limits. Like that was your mentality. Was like, hey,
100%.
I'm single. I ain't doing this shit no more, and I'm gonna do
Yeah.
whatever I want to do. Now it's me for the rest of my life.
I got nothing holding me back.
And I remember telling you, I was like, hey man, but that's one way to look at it, but you never know. When you're not looking for something is when you find it.
And sure as shit.
You wasn't looking.
Sure as shit.
You wasn't looking.
I was not looking. Completely had my guard down.
So
Got blindsided.
and that's the way it goes down. When you don't
Yeah.
look is when it goes down. So
When you focus, another way to look at it is when you focus on yourself.
yeah,
That's when you
because you grew from it.
Yeah,
you grew.
100%.
So,
It was a great experience. That was 7 years of my life that I appreciated,
right,
but I also, in reflection and looking back, like I see how reckless I was
right,
during those 7 years.
right. We'll cut
You
that
good?
out.
You good? Nah, we're keeping that. We're keeping all of this.
Hey,
No cuts.
If it's a
Practice.
pubescent if it's a pubescent voice crack, it just means that I'm just getting younger.
Practice.
Let's Benjamin Button this
practice for the lives, bro. We're practicing for the lives.
Oh
Nah,
man,
but yeah, it was definitely it was a fun time. It was great. I basically got to a point to where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to date myself. Like whatever it is that I want to do, like I'm not gonna wait for anybody else. I'm just gonna
I'm
go
not
do
even
it.
gonna add the no Diddy. Enjoy your thought. But I mean, just knowing you through these years, the Coop of then. I mean, I think both of us have gone through the stages, right?
Yeah.
Like I knew the junior high, the high school Coop. I knew the post high school Coop. I knew the military Coop. I knew the retirement Coop, and now this new relationship,
This new married Coop. Yeah.
So I see the stages, I see the growth. I definitely see it, and like I said, it's like when you're not looking, it'll just hit you, and
Facts.
like you said, you let your guard down a little bit, and the crazy part is when it's natural like that, you don't even realize it's happening until you're deeper in it than you expected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I'm hanging out with her. Okay, cool, whatever, da 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 da, and the next thing you know, you're like, wait a minute, when did she move in?
I'm in a whole ass relationship.
like,
what the
Like,
hell?
what happened here?
Yeah. Now it's
So-
crazy. Like she's got this great energy. She's got this great vibe. It's like nothing that I've ever experienced before. Like when they talk about opposite attract. So I'm just talking about how shut off I am and how easy it is for me to just disassociate and avoid stuff. You know?
Right.
She's the polar opposite. She is like, no, I feel everything and we're gonna deal with this right now. I'm like, okay, this is
So you're forced to deal with your feelings real time.
right. And that was not something. And when you look back, like that's exactly what I was running from.
Yeah.
Dealing with my feelings. Anytime that I would get close to it, it was like, yeah, I'm not doing this and time to do some avoidance. But
Yeah.
me wanting to be around her, me liking her energy, it was like, this is something that I don't want to run from. Like, let's see where this goes. Like, let's try this out.
That's that like you said, that's the personality types, and so
Yeah.
she's got that, her level of personality and her stages that she's in definitely meshes with yours, and
Yeah.
you kind of balance, you kind of create a
it's-
balance.
It's work though, because it's like the things that we admire about each other are also our triggers about each other. Because
Right.
like I admire her level of emotional intelligence
Right.
and her ability to feel what she feels and express what she's feeling. But at the same time, like that's challenging for me because it's like, wait, that means I got to do that too.
Right.
Like this is foreign territory for me, you know.
That-
Like I don't know how to do this stuff.
She's expecting the return.
Right. And vice versa, you know, it's like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, we can just let this go. You know, like why aren't you dropping this? Like, why are we still going through this? But it's like going through that is what's making me see all the shortcomings that I have and that I can work on. And that's not something that I was ever into before. I'm like, I'm fine. Honestly, I would have told you I was damn near perfect because ain't nobody got a problem with me. Everybody likes me.
Right.
I don't have any issues. I have a great military career, retired at 35. I got my pension. I got my disability. I haven't worked. Well, I've had a couple jobs in between, but like I haven't needed to work
For sure.
to survive
For sure.
for 9 years now, So in my mind, I'm like, I'm the whole package. I'm tall, I'm dark, I'm handsome, I'm light. I'm tall, I'm light, and I'm handsome.
Right.
Like I got this great head of hair. Like nobody thinks I'm as old as I am. Like I'm living. I had the 300 wagon.
Right.
Running the streets, ripping and
That's
running.
What I'm saying, man. It's all a blessing and a curse.
Taking advantage of those military benefits. Like I was flying to Hawaii and Japan and Alaska all on the government's dime. Like I was like, yeah, I'm about to live life like no other, And then God placed the angel in my path who was like, bro, you need to slow down. Like you're living a little too wild in these streets out here.
We definitely gonna reflect on this conversation on episode 50. See where we at. No, I was kidding.
I'm gonna be a sanctified man by then. Be all holier than thou. Be all fucking matured up and shit. But yeah, it's
that's nuts.
It's crazy. It's crazy to see how far I've come. Just in my own eyes, I don't know how it looks to other people. But like I know where I was.
Well, I've been taking some notes, and what I can tell you. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me get my.
No, I mean, and that's the thing about knowing somebody for as long as we've known each other. We've got a few other friends that we've known since junior high, and whatnot. And it's cool watching the growth. You know what I mean? I mean, I have friends that we've definitely taken way different paths.
Right.
So the friendship that we had at one time. Maybe isn't there anymore. You know what I mean? It just and that's natural from a lot of people, right?
Right.
I had real close friends in high school that after high school kind of ventured off and, now there's Facebook, you kind of message each other once in a while, but you don't really kick it the way you did, And then there's friends that I kicked it after high school that, a few years after as my career went one way and theirs went another or whatever, life just takes you. So you just lose touch.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've been pretty much in contact, all for
On
the most part.
throughout,
I mean, you military wise, I know when you come back in town, we always link up and.
Yeah, we used to have what were they? The Christmas Culver get-togethers.
The little get-togethers, which we probably well overdue for. I mean, we hadn't done that since well before COVID.
Before COVID, but again, that was during that period where I was on my own.
You was different, Coop.
Yeah, I was live for today, Coop.
Hey, we might have to organize one because it's been a minute. I wouldn't mind hanging out with some.
That'd be cool.
Folks.
That'd be cool to link up with the people.
But the people who I have kept in contact with, I mean, like yourself. Obviously, I did music with a couple of the guys. CJ and a couple other people. So I mean,
yeah.
Since I know him since 6th grade. So I mean, it's just
the Culver hits.
It's cool just to be able to have that connection with somebody for this long.
Yeah.
And it's literally like a phone call away. Even if I don't kick it with him for like a month. It's a phone call. What's up, dog? Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And we just right back in it. I mean, and generally, I mean, we talk. I mean, I think all of us talk at least daily, if not every other day. I mean, and that's just, having that circle is just dope.
Yeah.
It's just dope. Some people, some people have their circle, but it's friends that are more recent. I've known this person for 5 years. Wow.
Right.
It's hard to say, well, I've known this person for 25 years.
Yeah.
I've known him since 2nd grade. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I'm trying a new thing out with this friendship thing because I realized that the way that I used to operate, it wasn't individual specific.
Mm-hmm.
It was just anybody who was in my immediate circle or immediate area.
Right.
So I have little batches of a tight friend group from all the different places that I've been.
For sure.
So I have my San Diego crew, which I would say are the people that I'm the tightest with throughout, but I had a Mississippi crew. I had a Japan crew, like every little place that I've gone to. Like there's my Iraq crew, the people that we went to Iraq together with.
For sure.
Like we have all these little moments in time where it was like us versus everybody.
Yeah.
And then after getting out of the military, because of all the traveling, it's like I've got people all over the place, but I didn't really have a core of like who my true blue friends are.
Right. Right.
And then it's like being away from that environment and then finding out, okay, like I've got hundreds and hundreds of friends hundreds of people that I would refer to as friends.
For sure.
But at the same time, there's no real like closeness in
Right.
those friendships. If anything, they're more acquaintances than friendships.
Right. You start. I mean, and that's the thing is you grow and you start to especially right now. You're settling into this new lifestyle that you got going right now.
Yeah.
So like you said, you've got people from all over, from doing the military stuff to living in different states and whatnot.
Yeah.
And like you said, if they hit you up and they call you, you call them.
Yeah.
They're your friends.
Yeah.
But
So
like
now,
there's always that inner circle that's like
yeah.
the true, like, for lack of a better term, a lot of people call them day ones.
Yeah.
So you got your day ones, and even if the day ones are 3 years old or 20 years old, they're still your day ones.
Yeah.
So you always got to have that, because I'm the same way. I have a huge circle.
Yeah.
From doing the music to like everything else, so I have a huge circle of people that I know and I consider friends.
Yeah.
But I definitely do have my inner circle that's much, much smaller, more tight knit.
And me, I didn't have those different circles. It was just one circle. And
Yeah.
in my head, everybody was a day one.
Right.
I'm like, oh, that's the homie. I just met this dude one time.
For sure.
Oh, that's the homie from such and such. Yeah, like we did this, we did that. Like, I'm gonna call him up right now. Like,
Yeah.
who's this?
Right. And that's the other thing too, is that one, and it's funny you say it like that, because that's one thing I learned as I grew was I was the one that a lot of times I ain't talked to so and so for a minute, let me hit him up.
You're the one that would
What's
reach
up?
out. Yeah.
So then I got
You're
to
the
that point
reacher.
where I was like,
You're the reacher.
I was reaching that.
You were reaching.
So, but I got to that level where I was like, why am I the one always reaching out? You know what I'm saying? And that's when I started separating, like you said, the real friends from the acquaintances. Like, all right, I'm an acquaintance. This person's cool. I'm cool with him.
Yeah.
But I can't be if I'm the only one reaching out, then is it really a friendship?
Right.
And so there was a lot of people that I would purposely, after a certain given time of just thinking about it, reflection, I'd go, I'm not even gonna bother, like, at this point, because I feel like it's one-sided.
It's one-sided, right?
And so and maybe that's selfish of me to just be like assume.
Yeah.
Because maybe they're just used to me calling them and they're just like, oh shit.
Yeah, they're not that type of, and that's the thing too that I'm beginning to understand, like the way that a lot of us show up in relationship, we appreciate it when other people show up in that way for us.
For sure.
And it's sort of a unspoken expectation that we have, especially in our friendships and our relationships. Like if I'm going to call you all the time, it would be nice if every once in a while you called me. But if you really look at that person, like they've never been a caller.
Right.
They don't call anybody.
Right.
So it's like, that's not who they are. But
I mean, even a text, something like that, you know what I'm saying?
But I mean, if you're the type to take that personal and be like, nah, like you said, it begins to feel one-sided when you frame it like that. But it's like, nah, maybe, like, let's use Winnie the Pooh for an example. Like, Eeyore's not going to call you.
Right.
Eeyore's not the dude that's coming up, seeing how you're doing. Like, Eeyore is depressed. But Winnie the Pooh never.
Hey, Pooh.
Right?
How's it going?
But Winnie the Pooh never was like, bro, like, you don't never come and check on me. Like, why should I keep coming and checking on you? He's like, no, like, this is my friend. This is who my friend is. I'm going to meet them where they're at.
Right. It's a good analogy. I mean, I definitely, I'm not going to say I cut people off, but there's a good selection of people that I stopped reaching out to.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, because it'd be like, a couple months would go by and I'd be like, oh shit. And I'd text somebody or call somebody, hey man, I'm just checking in, seeing how things are,
Yeah.
And then it would turn into a conversation. And then, like you said, sometimes I wonder, like, did I always have great conversations with the person, or even link up with this person because I was the one that reached out, because they're just not the type to reach out. So because I checked in, they was like, oh, I'm glad you called. What do? Let's go hang out.
Yeah.
So was it that they're just not an initiator?
It's potential, possibly.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know, it's the wingman aspect, right? There's some people who can approach, a member of the opposite sex or whatever, and start talking and just immediately, and they're good to go.
Yeah.
And there's the other people that they approach together. That person starts talking, and then they engage. And so I feel like it's two sides of that fence for sure. But
there is.
I know I've absolutely cut people off, and it's not to be mean. It's just that, like you said, every once in a while it'd be nice,
Yeah, if they're not that type of person to reciprocate, then maybe that's not the type of friend that I want.
So, and most of my inner circle does that. It's two ways. It's like if they don't hear from me for like a couple of days, hey, what's going on with you? How you been? Is everything good? And same thing for them. Like if I don't hear from them for a couple of days, what's up, man? You good? Because you always got to check in, especially with the level of mental illnesses and mental everything
The state
nowadays.
that we're in right now. Yeah, totally.
With the just everything. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's always good to check in on people, man. I don't want,
it is. I agree. But
the-
see, with that being said, I feel like subconsciously you want people to check in on you,
oh, absolutely do.
and it's like
Not
not
subconscious.
not to,
It's
not
very
it's very
conscious.
conscious. Not to say that that's why you're doing it to other people,
Right.
but at the same time, it's like
It's
when you find those
it's a good
people,
80%.
yeah, when you find those people that are capable and willing to reach back out.
Because like you said, it's I guess that's a certain personality type that I feel like I'm more inclined to hang out or talk to more often, is the type
Yeah.
that's gonna look after me the way I look after them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if one of those people in my tight circle hits me up, hey man, such and such happened, and they're like, and I can hear the stress level. Like I'm the
Yeah.
first one to be like, all right, well I'm gonna roll through. Like I'm gonna come
Right.
check on you.
How
I'll
can I
make sure
help?
you're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The whole nine. And I would expect, and like I said, this isn't to sound selfish, but I would expect some of those same people
That you would do the same for me.
to do the same. It's like you see me going through a hard time, you see me going through something, like I want to see you reach out. Like if
Yeah.
I, and
Don't start dodging my phone calls.
yeah, and I get it. Some people initiate that with like social media, right? They'll go on Facebook, hey, prayers needed, we'll do something's happened, right? And then you get the comments, people, comment on there, and that's cool. But like of those 50 comments, like how many of those people are really reaching out?
Right.
It's cool that you commented, hey, prayers, condolences, hope everything's good, da da da
Yeah.
da. But who's gonna, aside from that Facebook post, who's gonna
Who's
actually
gonna
reach out
and call?
You know what I'm saying? So
And it's the hard. It's crazy now because again, like you said, the time that we live in, like that in itself is, for lack of a better way to call it, a cry for help.
right,
If I go out on my social media and I put something up,
you're making yourself vulnerable at that
Right.
point, right? You're putting your vulnerability out there of whatever the situation is.
yeah, there's very few people that'll look at that and be like,
Right.
because I mean, for the most part, it's we're all living in our own. Everybody's living their own life. Everybody's got their own shit going on.
Right.
Do I really want to involve myself in the shit that you got going on when I'm barely
Yeah.
holding on with my own
and
shit?
I've done
you know?
that. I've seen people. My thing is if I see somebody on Facebook, and I've posted on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, if you feeling that type of way, like, because I've had friends, have gone through suicide stuff.
Yeah.
If you feeling that type of way, or you feel like, call me, like, just call me.
But see, that's the thing. Like,
Like-
how often, like, people say that all the time.
Oh, I know.
If you it's the
Most
going
of my friends know that. Call me, like,
going back to what we're talking about before. It's like when you put that thing out there, people see that somebody's going through something based on that post, and it's like, hey, if you need to talk, give me a call. I'm here.
and
now
I usually reach out.
Now, and again,
if I can,
that's the other perspective
I'll
where it's
reach
like,
out.
don't. Obviously, this is me calling out. Me
Yeah.
putting this post up. This
That's
is
you
me calling out.
Yeah.
When
And in those situations, I will call because if
'Cause
I
you see
especially
it.
if I have your contact, but
Yeah.
I will call you because I need to make sure you're right.
I'm reaching out. I'm not telling you to reach out. You're feeling suicidal. I'm not telling you to reach out to me.
Yeah.
I'm reaching out to you.
Exactly. I'm not waiting for the next post where somebody says so and so passed and this is now a memorial page. No, I'm gonna reach out now, and I'm gonna see what your state of mind is, and based on that conversation, if I'm either gonna get to you, or I'm gonna get somebody to get to you.
Right.
Because I'm not trying to be that last. I don't want to be the last conversation to somebody like that. You know what I mean? So I want to help.
It's tough.
So
Yeah.
but that's
Again,
two-way
that's
street.
another thing. Like me and you, we're both very helpful individuals.
Yeah,
I remember when I came back out here from where was I at? North Carolina, when I moved back to Cali.
Yeah,
And I had my stuff in the storage unit, and I don't even know how you got involved. I don't know if I posted about it or if we were talking and I had
no, I
mentioned
think we
it.
were talking, and then you were like, and
You
I
were-
think you said, "Come to think of it, you got a truck."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you were like there without no
Yeah.
questions asked. You like, when is it? Like I'll move some shit around. Like I'm there. And I
mean,
was like,
that's for my circle. Like, and I wasn't expecting shit in response. Like,
Yeah.
like a lot of people, like, you gonna pay me gas? You gonna pay? I ain't tripping off that. Like, if a friend needs help, I'll help you.
I'm that friend.
not
I'm that
asking about
dude.
all that. So,
I'm that
but I've
dude.
I've posted up on Facebook many times, like over the years, like, hey, if anybody's feeling a certain type of way, there's suicide hotlines. But if you just need an ear, like, even if I don't know you, you're just on here because of whatever, my music,
Yeah.
whatever, right? Something.
Yeah.
If you're just on here and we just happen to be Facebook friends and you need an ear, like, I'd rather you hit me up than to hear about a story on the news.
Right.
And I actually had somebody hit me up on one of the times I posted that. I had somebody hit me up that I did not know. They called me through Facebook. And yeah, they were going through some stuff, and we had a pretty great conversation. He was mad cool dude. And like, yeah, he was definitely going through it. And I just tried to give him a little bit of moral support, and all that. And now to this day, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, we're best friends, but we're
keep in touch.
We keep in touch
Yeah.
and chop it up on Facebook. Using
That's cool.
So, but like that's my thing is like I don't want to think anybody should ever get to that level and not have nobody to at least.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you 100%.
I'm one of those people. I feel like suicide itself is very selfish.
Yeah.
Because you're not fine. I get it. You want to off yourself because you feel like that's an escape. But what you're not thinking about is the mental state you're leaving X amount of people in that love you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you feel like your family or your circle is very small, small is still something.
That's a hard spot
So,
to be in, though. That's a very hard spot to be in because I mean to feel that hopeless,
right?
Where you really feel like your best option is to just end it all,
right? And that's why I feel like
it's hard. It's hard to pull out of that.
I feel like it's a selfless mind state. It's selfish. I should say not selfless. It's selfish.
I agree. It's selfish 100%.
Because you have even if you have a mom, you have a dad, you have a brother, you have a sister, you have a friend, there's somebody. Nobody's completely alone unless they make themselves alone, right? So even if you're one of those people that like disowned your family because of whatever, right? If you're in that state, you need to find somebody to talk to.
Easier said than done.
And I know it's tough, but I just tried it. If I can be that person, I'll be that. Even if I don't know you, man, I'd rather you just vent.
Yeah.
Just vent. Just because sometimes that's all you need is you just need somebody
that helps,
to sit there
to get it out.
They can vent.
That
I don't even have to give you advice. Just let it all out.
Talking about stuff is one of the best forms of therapy because it's literally your way of releasing that pain, like holding it in. It literally makes people sick.
It does.
Holding on to
makes
that,
it worse.
it really does make you sick because you can worry yourself to death.
Yeah, blood pressure, aneurysms, all that stuff.
Yeah,
man. You do
so
ulcers.
But again, if you've never been in a space or been allowed to be vulnerable or to express yourself, you don't even know what that looks like.
And there's a lot of people that are just like that.
Just not
they,
like
they
that.
Don't know how. One, they don't know how to express themselves, and two, they don't know how to make themselves. I don't want to say make themselves vulnerable, but just go to that vulnerable place.
Yeah,
with anybody else.
It could be too painful.
Because some people have that mentality of if I'm vulnerable, I'm weak.
Right.
And if I'm weak, I'm a loser.
Right.
No. Everybody gets weak. Everybody gets vulnerable. Everybody goes through shit. You just have to know how to handle it. And
without that right person there.
And I can preach this.
Yeah.
But I can also say that I've been through my own hard times. I haven't gotten to the level where I'm trying to suicide, nothing like that.
Right.
But I've gone through my own struggles. And it does get to the point where you're just like, man, this is tough. This is tough, and being able to talk about it,
because that's hard in itself.
It does wonders.
That's hard in itself.
And one thing I learned, doing in school, taking psych and whatnot. One thing I learned is sometimes, and I tell this to people, sometimes find yourself a room, a quiet place, just you. Just talk it out with yourself. Because sometimes just saying it out loud and hearing yourself, talk about what you're saying. You start to like give your own self advice.
Yeah.
And start to figure out how to work through it.
Yeah.
And it helps. It sounds crazy. Oh, you talking to yourself? Yeah, talk to yourself.
Yeah. No,
you'd be surprised. You tell yourself some shit.
That's one thing pets are good for.
Indeed.
It gives you.
I agree wholeheartely.
The one thing, especially about a dog, is that a dog will listen to everything that you have to say without any judgment.
Exactly.
And
Dogs.
That in itself is hard to find from a lot of people. Like a dog is the epitome of what unconditional love is.
And that's why, you look at like nursing homes and recovery homes. Sometimes they have dogs, cats, things like that. Because cats have this weird way of sensing your emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're stressed or it's in a sad place or that, a cat will just come over. Next thing you know, it's purring. It's in your lap. You start petting it, and
you calm down.
They've scientifically proven your heart rate drops.
Yeah, it's a
To
distraction.
the right level.
It's a distraction because you go from focusing on whatever it is that's putting you in that state to focusing on something else.
Absolutely,
and it's a lot easier to do that with the pet because a lot of times when you're doing it with the person, there's questions that come,
you can't
or
sit
there's feedback that you can try.
Right.
Tim,
hey,
let me
come over here, dog. I gotta stroke you for a minute. No diddy.
I need to get my anxiety down.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I mean, I'm a big proponent of pets.
Yeah,
I mean, especially dogs and cats. I think I mean, I have a dog and 2 cats. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely something about that. They'll always give you attention.
Mm-hmm.
and people be like, well, you're supposed to give the animals attention. You do.
You
But
should. It should go both
they
ways.
will give you attention. They will be there for you. They can sense dogs.
Especially dogs.
You know how they say dogs can sense fear?
Yeah.
The,
Dogs can
if they can sense fear, they can sense everything else.
They can sense all your emotions.
So, and it's the same thing. Cats will come over, you know what I mean? Like I said, and they've proven that a purring cat will immediately drop your blood pressure, your heart rate. Like they've proven that like just a purring cat, especially if it's on your lap, you feel the vibratingness of the cat. It helps. And so, like I always tell people, like you said, like talk to yourself. And I agree, like the pets. If you got a dog, like hey, go. Just go lay down with your dog.
Yeah, man. I used to talk to myself a lot, especially when I get faded. Like the conversations that I have with myself, literally out of this world.
You wasn't by yourself, right? I was.
Damn.
You was that lifted.
I was that blown. Yeah. Yeah, bro. I miss. I don't miss drinking, but I miss the mindset that I had when I was drinking.
Yeah, I can't lie. It threw me for a little bit of a loop when you said you was gonna stop and then you stopped drinking. I mean, I know you was a big,
huge.
You was a big drinker. I'm not gonna say you were necessarily irresponsible.
I will.
I know there was levels of irresponsibility.
I know that there was a lot of irresponsibility.
But I also know you.
Yeah.
And I feel like you could have gotten to that level where you was kind of just like a casual 1 drink, 2 drink drinker. But the fact that you was like, nah, I'm good. It's admirable because some people can't do that. They can't just shut it off,
It's one of my gifts, like especially being in the military. The military, I picked up a lot of bad habits in the military: smoking, drinking, driving crazy.
Right.
Because I felt like I drove pretty crazy in high school too.
Right.
But you go on a couple deployments, you go on a couple convoys, and
right,
your driving gets a little bit more aggressive. It's
sure.
like I don't trust that trash on the side of the road. I'm not trying to be under this overpass for too long. This car has been
the Northward earthquake got me with the overpasses. So
yeah,
I don't like it. When I'm at a red light, and I'm under overpass. I'm like, all right, how can I get around this real quick?
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's like even with so like my first few months in the military after boot camp, we have to go through this training. They called it MCT, Marine Combat Training.
Okay.
Can't remember how long it was for. Maybe 8 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever it was. You had to go to Camp Pendleton. You do this training or whatever. During that training, you're in a learning environment, class basically, for 4 to 6 hours out of the day. Whenever you're having breaks, it's the same thing was always said. Smokers, smoke them if you got them. If not, sit there and study your material.
Oh, wow.
Fuck that. I'm not sitting in here.
Right.
Go. Hey, somebody got a cigarette I can go bum?
Right.
So, like that's when I picked up my first cigarette regularly, I would say. Because it's like, I don't like forced learning. I don't like learning something that I'm supposed to learn.
Right.
I like learning things that I want to learn.
Right.
If it's something that I want to learn, I will
way.
put all this time and energy and effort into it.
Yep.
If it's something that I have to learn, I'm doing what I need to do to show that I know enough of the material that I can get by. But, I'm not really interested
Not interested at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a stretch for me as a meteorologist in the Marine Corps, because it's like I could give two shits about the weather. Like, I don't care what kind of clouds these are. Like, I don't care about the thunderstorms.
You was old boy from Family Guy?
Oh, yeah.
It's raining.
It's raining. It's hot. We used to have this joke, like our job could easily be replaced by a rock on a rope. Have a little sign under it, If I'm dry, it's sunny.
Right.
If I'm wet, it's raining.
Yep.
If I'm swinging, it's windy. If I'm gone, seek shelter.
Right.
Like,
right. Right.
Like my job can easily be replaced by a rock.
But yeah, I mean, being able to cut off some of those habits, I mean, it's like I said, it's admirable. I mean, I'm a casual drinker. I'll drink one. I'll have a drink here and there. I'm not a big let's go out and get blasted no more.
Yeah.
But I'll have a drink here and there. But I will say I'm able to, if I need to, I can cut anything off. I mean, it's been 15 years or so since I drank soda.
Really?
So I cut soda off.
Yeah.
Because I saw, people getting diabetes and people doing all, and the amount of sugar and stuff. Just
Yeah, it's a lot of sugar.
learning about health, right? The amount of sugar and stuff that's in sodas is just
It's
astronomical.
ridiculous.
So that was one
Sugar.
of the things that I cut out. It's been about 15 or more years, but what I started doing was I started drinking like Pellegrino and Perrier, carbonated waters,
Yeah,
and just been like, all right, I'll just drink water. And so I
yeah,
drink water and I drink tea, and that's it. Not like Nest tea or nothing like that, because that's essentially soda with all it's fake
yeah,
tea, but real tea.
yeah.
So I'm a big tea. I drink iced tea and I drink water and I drink carbonated water if I want that fizz.
Right.
And it's a trip because now when you go to the market, there's all these different like flavored, carbonated waters. And
Yeah.
yeah, they're not all extra sweet and fruity, but they just have that little essence of the fruit flavor.
Right.
And I'm fine with that now. And I've gotten to the point where it wasn't hard for me to just stop soda. Like I was just like, that's it.
Just able to cut it.
And now being that
Yeah.
there's so many options for carbonated water and things like that, I'm fine with it. And I remember I was working I was shooting a video. I was doing a wedding on a boat. It was a whole wedding reception. Everything was on a boat. It was on a little cruise thing, and they only had sodas. They didn't have water. They had tap water, and the last thing you want to do is drink tap water for a boat. So I was just like, I guess I'll do the lesser of the evils and take a 7-Up.
Yeah.
And I remember taking the first sip, and that was probably like not after not having a soda for maybe 10 years ish, somewhere in there that
Right.
range. And I remember that one sip, my stomach immediately was just like, "What the hell did you do?" Like it was so sweet and so unbearable. My body's not used to that
That level of
hit,
sugar. Yeah.
that I immediately started feeling sick, like off a sip.
Damn.
I left that mug sit there, dude, and I worked the rest of that wedding. And
Without
I
any-
know by the time I left, I know I was dehydrating myself because it was a lot of
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
And when I left, there was right when we got back to port, got in my car, and there was a liquor store right there, right where I was parked. And I remember running in there, and prices were stupid, obviously. But I remember buying like 2 big ass bottles of water, driving home, just chugging,
them.
dude, just
Yeah.
because I was just done. I mean, I was on the thing for like about 9.5, 10 hours
Yeah. That's a long
straight
shoot.
without drinking anything because
That's
they
a
didn't
long
have no
shoot.
water.
Yeah.
So it was probably dangerous. Probably shouldn't have done that. But
Hey, you gotta remember to
But-
pack some water with you when you
yeah,
go.
I
Bring
would
your
have
own
assumed
water.
like the most
Yeah.
basic thing you'd have is water.
Right.
But apparently they was like, nah, we only got soda.
Yeah. That's
So-
crazy.
But that turned my stomach. So cutting off, I'm okay with cutting off. I just know that when it comes to alcohol, smoking, things like that,
Yeah.
people have a struggle. So
That's a huge. It's hard. Like a
I've
lot of
watched
people.
people go through that
A
struggle.
lot of people can't, because I mean, the way, again, like being in the military, like smoking and drinking is as common as eating.
Of course.
So when I'm in that environment, I'm in that environment.
Right.
I'm smoking all day long. I'm drinking 4 to 5 days out of the week. Like it was heavy
Right.
enough to where my mom was worried about me. I'm like, you're tripping. Like I'm good. Like
Right.
looking back, it's like, okay, I can kind of see why she was concerned.
Right. My bad, moms.
But in the moment, it was like, I'm good. I got this under control. Like I'm being smart about it. I'm
Right.
being safe. Like I'm with people I trust. We're in safe spaces. We're not doing anything too crazy.
Right.
But being out of that environment, like it wasn't hard to put that down. Like using Iraq as an example, like we were smoking all day, every day. Like for somebody who doesn't smoke, which I would have considered myself a non-smoker,
Right.
but I'm smoking half a pack to a pack a week, if not more than that. And then to come back and then not smoke, like
Right.
no wean off period, just wake up one morning and just decide, like I don't want to smoke anymore. So it's like I can do things that I want to do when I
Right.
put my mind to it,
Right.
but then there are some things that I say I want to do it, but I guess I really don't want to do it, like sugar, like cutting back on my sugar. That's one thing that I can't. I have a hard time cutting back on sugar.
I just had too much. For me, it was too much experience. Friends and some family members and things
Yeah.
like that with the getting the diabetes, and then I've seen people have to lose a foot
Yeah,
due to it, or even a leg,
yeah,
and even die. I've seen people die from complications from it, and it just kind of, I don't want to say it scared me stupid, but it scared me stupid. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, like some of these people that were getting cut down off just having too much sugar in their life were in their 30s.
Right.
It's like, I didn't want to be that.
That's a tough one.
It's one thing to be a statistic. I don't want to be that statistic.
Right.
Oh, diabetes, 30 years old. You know.
I mean, I'm fortunate again. Like God got angels watching over me or something, because the amount of sugar and crap that I've consumed, like I feel like I should have high cholesterol and diabetes and all this other stuff. But by the grace of God,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Before I stopped drinking soda, like I mean, I love Dr. Pepper, bro. Like that was my go-to. So I was drinking Dr. Peppers all the time. I mean, I drank various other sodas, but Dr. Pepper.
That was the one. That was the go-to.
That was just the go-to.
Yeah.
So I will say that the argument over, you know, I don't have much stake in it anymore. I don't drink soda, but if we're talking about the argument over Pepsi Coke, I'm still saying Coke.
Coke over Pepsi. Yeah.
I was always Coke over Pepsi. I mean,
agreed. Pepsi, but ironically, Pepsi is sweeter.
It wasn't. You're right. It is, and it wasn't that I wouldn't drink Pepsi at the time, but I just,
drink it if it's there.
If I had a choice,
yeah,
I'm taking a Coke.
I mean, for me, it was more of the whatever would go best with the alcohol. So like if I'm mixing it with some rum, like I'm gonna use Coke versus Pepsi
for sure.
If I'm doing oh no, I would use 7 Up for that. 7 and 7. I was gonna say if I'm doing something like a spiced rum, I would use a Pepsi or like 7 Up versus Sprite.
Right,
like I'm using the 7 Up because the Sprite just has too much sugar.
So for me, just if I was just drinking it, I would take the Sprite.
Yeah.
But if I was using it for a mix, then I would do the 7 Up. Yeah. So
it's crazy.
And I remember the Coke at McDonald's always had that different flavor. Like you knew when it was a McDonald's Coke versus any other kind of Coke.
Yeah.
Same thing for the Sprite. Their Sprite was like hella carbonated.
Right.
So
McDonald's got their own. McDonald's got their own blend.
Their own blends. Yeah. I mean it's
wild.
That's that shit. Must be nice.
Must be nice
to reach a level of commercialism that you can negotiate your own recipes for.
I know, right?
For your specific restaurant chain.
Seriously, because everybody knows it.
Because I don't think any other chain has that. I mean, I remember seeing the little documentaries and the stories that Coke actually has their own recipe for their sodas. So I don't think anybody else has that. So I mean, that's kind of crazy that they were able to reach that plateau.
When you got enough clout, you could you can move mountains. And Ronald McDonald definitely got the clout.
You can reach the top of those mountains.
You can reach the top of those mountains?
Yeah, so.
Facts. Yeah.
Well.
That's it.
I guess episode 5 is in the bag.
Yeah, that was
in the clouds shortly.
That was an interesting one. I didn't see it going there, but
hey, that's the beauty of this show. And what I've enjoyed about it thus far is that, we may say, hey, did you see this on the news or this? Let's talk about it. And then we come on here and we may mention it and then we may not because we kind of just free will.
Yeah.
And I like it because it comes off a little bit more natural, So hopefully, hopefully that's something that people appreciate, but it's literally just conversations that we're having now.
Right.
Without a script.
Yeah.
So
I like it. I like where this is going.
We'll see what episode 6 has in store, I guess.
Let's see what happens 5 episodes from now. Every time we're going to do it, I'm going to double it. So we did our 5. I'm going to check the 10. After we do the 10, we're gonna check in on the 20.
40s, 80. I got you.
I turned my 40 into 80. Oh, shit.
Damn.
Can you name that?
Can you reach that?
You know where that's from?
I am brain farting right now because...
DJ Quick.
I am... Is it?
I don't know. In my head, it's DJ Quick.
See. I can hear it.
Quick. Dollars and cents.
But I can't place it at
Dollars and cents. I think it was.
It just might be.
Yeah.
Hey, I got it right there on the playlist, so we can
hit it up later.
We can hit it.
Yeah. That's what's up.
All right. Well, everybody, man, we appreciate the feedback. Keep on subscribing. Keep on hitting up the comments, and we appreciate all the followers and the subscriptions we've been getting on Spotify and YouTube. And
comment, subscribe.
Keep it coming.
Hit us up on all the socials, TikTok, Instagram, the 2 biggest ones that we're heavy on.
Yeah, Instagram.
You can always watch us here on YouTube.
Facebook, YouTube.
If you can't watch and you want to listen, you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple. You can find us on Amazon.
Yep.
Yeah. All your favorite podcasting networks.
Everywhere.
We're in here.
Worldwide.
Right?
We can reach around the world.
We can reach you.
We will reach that.
We can be reached. All right. Until next time. Can you reach that?
Can you reach that?
Can you reach that? Can you reach that?
brought to you by Double One Entertainment in Coopersville. Hosted by Tango and Coop. And created and edited by Tim Greenlee and Brandon Adolphus. Music, sound design, and editing by Michael B. That's me. Visual art and graphic design by Jonathan Greenlee. Additional visual design by Timothy Greenlee.